Welcome back to Bordentown City and the Artful Deposit Gallery located at 201 Farnsworth Avenue. Today we are having a special event that the Artful Deposit sponsored. It's called Riverscape Cityscape. What I asked was for two of our very acclaimed painters that are represented at the gallery, namely Ken McIndoe and Michael Budden, for people to come and sign up to have a workshop with them and actually paint with them for the day. We called it Riverscape Cityscape for two very obvious reasons. Michael Budden is often seen painting along the Delaware River, one of his favorite things to do for his plein air paintings. And Ken McIndoe, who teaches at the Art Students League in New York City and has for 28 years, is also a New York City streetscape painter. So we called it Riverscape Cityscape, and what I'd like to do is let's head out there and go meet these artists and talk to some of the people that took the workshop today. Well, I'm here with one of our two very acclaimed painters, Mr. Ken McIndoe, who resides in Hopewell, New Jersey, but it's more than fair to say that this gentleman is internationally acclaimed. Is it true you have been asked to come and paint and give workshops in Alaska, South Korea, Ireland, and now Bordentown City?
I think it's wonderful that I've ended up in Bordentown City. It's a delightful place. The sun is shining down on the nice warm buildings, and there's all sorts of activity going on. At least when the painters, anyway.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Now, Ken, primarily you teach at the Art Students League, but you're known very much for your streetscapes or your cityscapes. Is that correct?
That's true. That's true. I've painted a lot in New York City with a group called the Street Painters. And we have been out there for about 35 years painting in New York City. But I've also been painting in New Jersey as well, painting landscapes down the Delaware River and in the town I live in and other small towns in the general New Jersey landscape. It's a very quiet landscape, not like Alaska where I've been, where you've got the mountains and the snow and the glaciers, and thankfully no grizzly bears when I was there, so that was all right.
None here either.
Oh, no grizzly bears here. Well, in New York City, now when I go into New York City to paint, there's no grizzly bears either. And people ask me all the time, well, don't people bother you? And I say, well, no, absolutely not. You know, everybody's doing something strange in New York City. Standing on the edge of the street, nearly getting run over by cars and avoiding, the meter maids, putting money into the meter so you can park your car, so you can paint. It's very exciting. That's where I started to get the energy in my paintings from.
I was going to ask you, do you think that the actual spontaneity of what's happening all around you does contribute to the vibrancy of your work?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. I need to move fast when I get out into the street. Various things are happening. The sun is moving, the wind is blowing.
Taxis are moving.
Taxis are moving, yes, right. Taxis are moving, cars are moving, and people are walking all over the place, and I have to move fast to get this down. Inevitably, the energy seeps into the painting.
That's wonderful. And speaking of energy, I would like to now switch over and ask Mr. Bill Margaretta, who is a Burlington City resident. He and his wife Tony have been Artful Deposit fans and fans of this artist, Mr. Ken McIndoe in particular. And can you tell us, Bill, when you received that postcard saying that you had a chance to take this workshop today and not only meet Mr. McIndoe but paint with him, how did you feel?
Oh, it was fantastic. First of all, what we did was we rearranged our entire schedule. This was the week we were going on vacation just to block this day out.
Wow.
Because when you get a chance to, well, it's one thing to encounter an artist like we did in New York City, encounter the New York street painters and be blown away by someone who's a master impressionist. right? Then collect his work, and then have the opportunity to paint with him. It was too good to pass up. It was phenomenal, and he's everything. It's been a delightful afternoon. And anybody, by the way, who gets an opportunity to do this, I would definitely come out and do this again. In fact, if you have a series, I'll sign up. I mean, this is super.
That's wonderful, and thank you so much for attending, again, our very first attempt at having an outdoor workshop, and the weather was more than cooperative. I'd like to thank you both so much, and let's head down to the river and find Mr. Budden and the group that decided to paint with him today. Well, here we are down by the Delaware River in Crosswicks Creek, and we're going to talk with Pam Wallenhurst, who is one of the artists who signed up for this workshop today because Mike Budden was one of the two nationally and internationally acclaimed painters that we were having here right in Bordentown City. Pam? This is Pam Wallenhurst. She is a Medford, New Jersey resident. And is it true, I know you're a watercolorist and a pastel artist, but is it true that today you painted your very first oil painting?
Absolutely my first.
And why did you decide to take this workshop?
Michael was very well known. Everyone raves about him, and he's an excellent artist. I've seen the stuff on the web from him, and I felt I wanted to be part of it.
Okay, and you actually had to borrow oil paints to come today?
Very correct.
So this is the type of thing that we hope that the Artful Deposit Gallery and the different events that we try and bring to not only the area residents and residents in 4 or 5 counties around us, but for the artists. So let's walk over and go see Mr. Budden and see what he's been up to today. Okay, so here we are with Mr. Michael Budden. And Michael, as we talked about before, you're a teacher during the day, and primarily you're giving instruction to, teenagers anywhere from 8th grade up to senior year, and some are going on to art school and they require different kind of instruction. But today, he was out here with some professional artists, some more seasoned artists, and you were with primarily adults. Yes. So right. Was the day any different for you, instruction-wise, teaching-wise?
Well, yeah, it was kind of unique because everybody was really eager to learn. There was obviously no discipline issues.
Yeah, and there will be no detentions today.
No detentions today. I mean, it was great. Really great group of artists here that were wanting to work today. So it kind of was a little bit more uplifting for me. So more positive and a little bit more fun.
Now, quite a few of the people who wanted to paint with you, in particular today, knew of your work and knew that you did a lot of plein air work. So did you think that this environment down here with the blend of, we had some land, we had some water, we had some boats, was that a good subject arena for you?
For me, I think maybe for some first-time painters, it was a little bit difficult because there was a lot of changes today. We had a lot of sun and clouds, so lighting changed all the time, and I think that's a little bit of a challenge for people. The tide changed, so we started with no water, and then all of a sudden it went up 6 feet, and like, oh my God, there's reflections.
Right. See, that's something I wouldn't have even thought about. Okay. And if we do this again, would you like to be a part of it?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
Thank you so much for being a part of, once again, Riverscape, Cityscape, the first sponsored outdoor landscape workshop that the Artful Deposit put on.